Welcome back to Rico Invests. Today, I want to show you something that most people never really understand until they are already behind. Cash is not always safe. In fact, in 2026, cash can become one of the quietest ways to lose money if inflation keeps eating away at your purchasing power while you are still thinking you're being careful. For a lot of people, cash feels like safety. It feels clean, simple, and protected. You can see it in your bank account. You can count it. You can use it anytime. But the truth is that money sitting still is not the same thing as money protected. If the cost of food, housing, energy, insurance, and everyday life rises faster than the value of the money you hold, then your cash is shrinking in real terms. You may not feel it in one day, but over months and years, it becomes impossible to ignore. And that is why this conversation matters so much right now. In today's market, people are still dealing with inflation pressure, uncertainty around trade policy, and a general feeling that the economy is not moving in a straight line. When tariffs, higher costs, and market fear all show up at the same time, investors begin to ask a different question. They stop asking only, how much cash do I have? And start asking, what can actually protect my wealth? That question is the beginning of smart investing. So in this video, I want to break this down in a very practical way. First, I will explain why cash alone is not enough. Then I will show you why gold keeps coming back into the conversation whenever uncertainty rises. After that, I will talk about Bitcoin and why some investors see it as a modern scarcity asset. Then I will move into productive assets, which I believe is where real long-term wealth is built. And finally, I will show you how to think about a balanced strategy instead of making emotional decisions. Let's start with the biggest mistake. A lot of people confuse not losing money today with building wealth for the future. Those are not the same thing. If you put your money in cash and leave it there for too long, you might avoid short-term volatility, but you also remove your chance to grow. More importantly, you expose yourself to inflation. Inflation is especially dangerous because it does not announce itself loudly. It works quietly. It slowly takes a little bit of your buying power every month, and many people do not notice until they try to buy something and realize their money doesn't go as far as it used to. This is why wealthy people think differently. They don't just want to keep money safe in a bank. They want to own things that can hold value, create value, or grow value over time. That can mean real businesses, shares in companies, hard assets, or scarce digital assets. The point is not to chase every trend. The point is to stop depending on cash alone as your entire financial strategy. Now let's talk about the news environment because this matters more than people think. Right now, markets are still very sensitive to inflation expectations, central bank policy, and global uncertainty. When investors feel uncertain, money starts moving differently. Some people rush into defensive assets, others panic and sell too late. Others do nothing and hope the situation solves itself. But the market does not reward hope, it rewards preparation. When tariffs are part of the discussion, people immediately begin to think about higher prices. That is because tariffs can increase the cost of goods and create pressure throughout the economy. When prices rise at the same time that consumer confidence is shaky, the result is a nervous market. And when the market becomes nervous, assets that are seen as safer or scarcer often get more attention. That is where gold comes in. Gold has been one of the most important wealth preservation assets in history. It does not produce dividends, it does not build factories, it does not generate cash flow, but it has one extremely powerful characteristic. It is scarce, widely recognized, and trusted in times of uncertainty. That is why people still talk about it every time inflation, currency weakness, or geopolitical tension appears. Gold is not an exciting asset in the way people on social media want excitement. It is not supposed to be exciting. It is supposed to be stable. It is supposed to be a store of value. It is supposed to help protect buying power when confidence in paper money starts to weaken. Think about it this way. If the world becomes more unstable, people want something tangible. They want something that does not depend on one company, one government, or one political cycle. Gold fits that role very well. It has been used for centuries because it survives different environments. When people worry about the future, gold becomes part of the conversation again and again. Now, gold is not the only answer. There is another asset class that has changed how modern investors think about money, and that is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very different from gold, but it plays a similar psychological role for a certain type of investor. Bitcoin is not stable in the short term. It is volatile. It moves hard. It can rise quickly and fall quickly. But for many people, Bitcoin represents scarcity in a digital world. There will always be a limited supply. It is global. It is not tied to one bank. It is not controlled the same way traditional money is controlled. And that makes it attractive to investors who are worried about long-term money debasement. But here's the important part. Bitcoin should never be treated like a guaranteed safe asset. It is not. It is a risk asset with high upside and high downside. If you buy Bitcoin, you must understand volatility. You must understand that it can drop sharply even when the long-term thesis still looks strong. That is why emotional trading gets people in trouble. They buy when everyone is excited and sell when fear appears. That is the opposite of smart investing. The best way to think about Bitcoin is not as a get-rich-quick tool, but as a high-risk scarcity asset that may deserve a place in some portfolios. The key is position size. If you treat it like a lottery ticket, you're probably doing it wrong. If you treat it like an important but risky piece of a broader strategy, you're thinking more clearly. Now let's move to the most important category in this video: productive assets. This is where real wealth is built. A productive asset is something that either generates income, grows in value through business performance, or creates future cash flow. This includes businesses, equity in companies, income-producing investments, and assets that are tied to actual productivity. The reason these assets matter so much is simple. They do more than just sit there. They work. That is the big difference between saving and investing. Saving is passive. Investing is active. Saving protects liquidity. Investing creates the possibility of growth. And if you want to build serious wealth over time, you eventually need assets that are doing something for you. This is why many wealthy people are obsessed with ownership. They don't want to only earn money once. They want money to keep coming back. They want a business that sells while they sleep. They want equity that can grow. They want income streams that continue even if one source slows down. That mindset changes everything. When you look at it from this angle, cash becomes a tool, not a strategy. You need cash for emergencies, bills, flexibility, and opportunity, but you don't want cash to be the only thing you own. If all you ever do is hold money and wait, then you are vulnerable to inflation and you miss the compounding effect that comes from owning productive assets. Let me make this even more practical. Imagine two people. Person A keeps everything in cash because they believe it is the safest choice. They don't want to take risks. They want to feel secure. But after a few years, inflation has quietly reduced the value of what they can buy. Their money still looks the same on paper, but their buying power is lower. Person B keeps some cash but also owns assets. They hold some defensive assets like gold. They may hold some growth exposure like Bitcoin. They may also own productive assets that can grow or generate income. Over time, their money is not just sitting there, it's working. Which person is more likely to stay ahead over a long period? That is the real question. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is not about becoming reckless. This is not about putting all your money into one asset and hoping for the best. That is not investing. That is gambling. Smart investing is about balance, patience, and understanding risk. It's about knowing what role each part of your portfolio is supposed to play. Cash has a role. It gives you liquidity and flexibility. Gold has a role. It helps preserve value during uncertainty. Bitcoin has a role for some investors. It offers exposure to modern scarcity and potential upside, but with major volatility. Productive assets have a role. They help build long-term value and cash flow. The goal is not to pick one of these and ignore the others. The goal is to understand how they work together. A strong financial strategy often starts with a simple question: how much cash do I need for safety and how much can I put to work? That depends on your situation. If you have unstable income, you may need more cash reserves. If you're building a business, you may need liquidity to move quickly. If you're investing for the long term, you may need to think more carefully about how much is sitting idle. One of the biggest mistakes people make is keeping too much money in cash for too long because they are waiting for the perfect time to invest. But the perfect time usually doesn't exist. The market will always have a reason to make you hesitate. There will always be headlines, fear, and uncertainty. If you wait for complete clarity, you may wait forever. That is why disciplined investors focus on process, not emotion. They decide what they want their money to do, and then they build a structure around that. They don't react to every headline. They don't panic at every dip. They understand that wealth is built through repeated good decisions over time. Let's go deeper on gold for a moment, because it's one of the clearest examples of defensive thinking. When the financial world feels fragile, gold often becomes more attractive because it doesn't depend on earnings, debt, or promises. It is not a business, it is not a stock, it is not trying to grow revenue. It is simply a store of value. And in a world where trust can disappear quickly, that matters. But gold alone will not make you wealthy either. It protects value, but it does not necessarily produce much growth. That is why the smartest strategy is rarely all in on one idea. It's usually about combining protection with growth. Gold can defend, productive assets can grow. Cash can keep you flexible. Bitcoin can add asymmetric upside if used carefully. That combination is where the real discussion begins. Now, think about the mindset behind this. Most people are taught to save, spend, and hope. Rich people are taught to allocate. They decide how much to keep liquid, how much to protect, and how much to grow. That is a much stronger way to think, because once you start thinking in allocation terms, you stop asking, where should I park my money, and start asking, what job should each euro or dollar perform? That question is powerful. If your money's job is emergency safety, then cash is appropriate. If your money's job is wealth preservation, then defensive assets matter. If your money's job is growth, then you need productive assets. If your money's job is long-term speculation with a limited allocation, then perhaps Bitcoin belongs in the mix. Everything changes when you give each part of your money a role. This is especially important in 2026 because uncertainty is not going away overnight. Markets can remain unstable for longer than people expect. Inflation can stay sticky. Policy can change. Trade tensions can move prices. And in that kind of environment, a static cash strategy is weak. I want you to think about your money like a team, not like a pile. A pile of cash just sits there. A team has different players doing different jobs. One part protects, one part grows, one part stays ready, and one part creates income. That is how you build something durable. Now, let's talk about practical behavior, because theory is useful, but action matters more. If you are someone who has never really invested before, the first step is not to do anything extreme. The first step is to understand your own situation. How much do you need for living expenses? How much do you need for emergencies? How much can you leave untouched for a longer period? Then, after you answer those questions, you can decide what kind of assets fit your risk tolerance. Some people can handle more volatility. Some people cannot. Some people want to own businesses. Some people want broad market exposure. Some people want a small amount in Bitcoin. Others prefer to stay closer to gold and income-producing assets. There is no single perfect answer, but there is a wrong answer: doing nothing and hoping inflation will be kind to you. Inflation is not kind, it is mechanical. It does not care whether you are ready or not. That is why action matters. Not reckless action, disciplined action. If I were simplifying the whole lesson of this video into one sentence, it would be this: do not let cash be the only thing protecting your future. That sentence matters because it changes your behavior. It pushes you to diversify. It pushes you to think long-term. It pushes you to stop treating money as something that should just sit quietly in one place. Instead, think about what you want your money to do. Do you want protection? Then part of it may belong in gold or other defensive assets. Do you want exposure to modern scarcity and high upside? Then a small, carefully managed position in Bitcoin might fit. Do you want real long-term wealth? Then productive assets should be part of the conversation. Do you want flexibility? Then keep enough cash, but not so much that inflation erodes it for years. That is the real framework. A lot of people overcomplicate money, but it comes down to a few basic rules. First, preserve enough liquidity to stay safe. Second, protect against inflation and uncertainty. Third, own assets that can produce or grow. Fourth, do not let emotions control your decisions. And fifth, keep learning because the world changes fast. The investors who win are not always the ones who predict every move correctly. They are the ones who build systems that can survive different conditions. That is why the best strategy is usually not extreme. It is balanced, it is patient, it is thoughtful. And that is what I want you to take from this video. Yes, cash is important, but cash alone is not a wealth plan. Yes, gold matters, but gold alone is not enough. Yes, Bitcoin can be interesting, but Bitcoin alone is too volatile for most people. Yes, productive assets matter most for long-term wealth, but even they should be part of a broader strategy. The smartest investors do not chase a single answer. They build a structure. So as you think about your own money in 2026, ask yourself one honest question. Am I actually building a system that protects my future, or am I just letting cash sit there and slowly lose value? That question is the difference between being passive and being prepared, and preparation is the real theme of this video. This is Rico Invests, and the message is simple. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not rely on cash alone. Build a smarter system now while you still have time to choose.